from Cleveland's most accurate weather team. This is 19 First Alert Plus, sponsored by the man that makes them pay, Tim Misney.
Hello there and welcome to your First Alert forecast here. The views that we are giving you right now downtown are drastically different than those that we gave you 6 hours ago, 7 hours ago when Samantha Roberts and I were here doing this. They are drastically different than what we gave you when we were on TV last, Erica. Things are changing. That's good, but still weather to worry about.
Yeah, we still have a little bit of lake effect left as we go through the overnight tonight, headed into the day tomorrow. This won't be quite, I don't think, as impactful as what we saw through the day today, but we could still add a little bit of extra snowfall to the mix over the next 24 hours or so. So we are going to keep the alert day going through the day on Saturday. Again, for a lot of us, and especially folks that live maybe out to the west, you saw that winter weather advisory, it was in effect for you earlier this evening. It was allowed to expire at 7 p.m. One thing I will say about this, you may still get a little bit more snowfall as we go through the day tomorrow. We may have a little bit of what we call a Lake Michigan connection, meaning that strong lake effect band that's been impacting parts of northern Indiana, southwest Michigan. It may help to kind of drift our direction and provide a little bit of extra moisture and eventually snowfall for parts of our area, but really where we anticipate still some of the bigger issues late tonight, where the winter storm warning is in effect until 4 o'clock in the morning. That's closer to our lakeshore, mainly into our primary snow belt, where I think we're going to see some of the bigger impacts. And then far southeastern counties, you folks are under the winter weather advisory until 10 o'clock in the morning. Lake Geauga, Ashtabula until 10 p.m. tomorrow evening. So just keep in mind, a lot of these advisories, warnings will expire at various times as we go through the overnight and into the day tomorrow. But overall, the big impactful weather is pretty much over at this point, but we still have some impacts to talk about here over the next 24 hours. So this is what I was talking about by that Lake Michigan connection. You can actually see that lake effect band starting to curve a little bit more as those winds eventually change direction to be more out of the northwest and then eventually northwest, or more westerly, I should say. That's when we may get a few of those bands of snow trying to impact some of our western counties. But for us, it's just Lake Erie open for business, trying to generate a few of those spotty snow showers for us. Certainly there have been some heavier bursts of snow, and because it's a cold air mass, because we don't really have a high moisture content, even though the air is saturated, but because our temperature is much cooler, this is a very light, fluffy snow. So if you have to be out and about shoveling, it's not maybe the most pleasant of conditions to do that, but at least it's not that heavy, wet snow that we can typically get during the winter season here in Northeast Ohio. So a couple of the stronger bands really sit out towards parts of Huron County this evening, up through Lorain County, northern Medina County, southern Cuyahoga County, northern Summit County. This is really the main show that we're dealing with left tonight. We still have a little bit of light lake effect out towards the east. Ashtabula County, you're finally getting in on a singular band of lake effect continuing to drift northeastward out of your county. But overall, again, these are going to be relatively light accumulations that we expect through the rest of this evening. Let's take you through Future View just to give you an idea of what we are expecting. Some additional lake effect, certainly not off the table. Remember, a lot of those advisories and winter storm warnings will go until 4 o'clock in the morning. So we still anticipate there to be some lake effect snow out there, and we will likely see some additional accumulations, but we're going to start to see this activity winding down just a bit more. I want to stop this at 8 o'clock in the morning. Notice our temperatures in our western counties, single digits. I know we have talked a lot about the snow. We've been emphasizing that, and maybe this has gotten lost in the messaging just a little bit, but really the air that's coming in late tonight through the early hours of tomorrow is going to be bitterly cold. If you can wait to potentially do some of that shoveling until we get closer to about midday tomorrow, may not be the worst idea. These are the wind chill values at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can see a lot of our areas basically along and west of I-77 in that -10 to -15 degree wind chill range. We will improve some as we go through the day tomorrow, and we'll get back into the positives by tomorrow evening. But again, it's just a sign that if you are going to be out and about, make sure that you are limiting some of that time outside, because you're limiting then that exposure to potentially open the door to hypothermia or even some frostbite. We don't want that as we're wrapping up finally this last bit of this Arctic blast. So going through the day tomorrow, sure, a little bit more lake effect certainly possible. We'll be keeping a close eye on that. You can see where we're talking about some of our western counties potentially getting in on some more of that additional additional snowfall totals as we go through the second half of tomorrow. But really, once we enter into tomorrow evening, winds at this point are starting to come in out of the west. We're going to eventually lift that lake effect band out of our area, and we will start to see things improving as we go through the day tomorrow. So how does this look in terms of snowfall? This is pretty general, and remember, this is just one model's depiction of how much additional snow we may see. Know that if we get a more persistent band to set up, you can add some to those totals that your snow tracker is showing easily. We saw that happen today. But I would think a general 1 to 3 inches plus looks likely, the plus being mainly if we can get that western band potentially to set up here across parts of Lorain County, northern Medina County. You may see a couple more inches added there, and certainly that typical corridor into the eastern portions of Cuyahoga County, out towards Geauga County, where that elevation starts to come up a little bit. You can get a little bit more lift. That gets you a little bit more of that snowfall, and we will have to watch the far central and eastern portions of Ashtabula County as well, which could see some locally higher amounts than, say, just that 3-inch range. We'll have to watch that through the day tomorrow.
Yeah, that cold is no joke, Erica. I mean, and the thing is, like, we're getting all this snow. We all know what then that means for potentially roads, things like that.
Yep.
Temperatures are just freezing. Be careful, people. Yeah, it's just nasty. It's just downright not fun out there.
Yeah.
It's better, but it's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it will improve eventually, but not this weekend. This weekend, we're still going to stay solidly below freezing in terms of our temps.
Woohoo.
Yay.
Good job, everybody. We did it. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, probably learn more about the weather.
I've represented families just like yours for over 4 decades. Listen, if you need me, call me. You know I'll be there for you, and I'll make them pay. In the meantime, I'll keep an eye out for you.
All right, Erica, we are back. 23 will feel like 50, and 42 will feel like 90.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to feel really nice into next week. So if you are a winter lover, you love the snow, you've got about 24 to 48 hours to really take full advantage of it. Again, limit the time outside early tomorrow morning. The snow's not going anywhere through the afternoon, so I would wait until those wind chill values climb back into the positive range to really get out and enjoy maybe some activities. Maybe you're headed to Boston Mills, you're going to go skiing or some snowboarding, or you just want to find a good spot to go sledding. You've got plenty of time between Saturday as well as Sunday to enjoy that. Temperatures will be warming up early this next week. We were going to be back above freezing, which is probably some welcome news to a lot of folks. But one thing to keep in mind, and we really have to wait for this system to clear out of here first, but we may be looking at a potential another alert day once we get into Tuesday. We still want to get a little bit more data before we say anything definitive on that. But just know we are watching a potential for some icing early Tuesday before temperatures eventually warm up, because you'll notice that overnight low 31 degrees. So we're just barely at that freezing to below freezing point. So we may get a little ice early in the morning on Tuesday, eventually transitioning to rain with temperatures back into the upper 30s. And then once we see the other systems roll through this next week, temperatures well above freezing, everything will be in the form of rain. But that is something we will have to watch pretty closely looking ahead towards the upcoming work week.
It is funny how we're going to really not see warm temperatures, but that is like such a drastic improvement. And I understand there's going to be showers, and I understand there's going to be the ice mix and all that stuff, but I mean, it cannot compare to what we're having these past few days and what we're having, honestly, this weekend.
Yeah, well, and then the other thing to consider too, you know, we've had all of this snow just dumped in on Northeast Ohio. It's not going anywhere through the weekend, but then we're going to start to see it melting pretty quickly Monday into Tuesday, and then we're going to continue to add more rain on top of it. So things are going to be pretty soggy for us as we head into early this next week. That I think is something to really kind of keep a close eye out on for too, because ground's going to be pretty saturated, and some of that water may not have anywhere to go as it's falling in a relatively short amount of time on top of all the snow that we just saw.
All right, Erica. You, myself, Christopher Fry will be on TV in about 30 minutes. So let's prepare for that. We will see you later. And that is it for your First Alert forecast. As I said, Erica Page, Jeff Slauson, Chris Fry will be on TV in 30 minutes. We will see you all there. For now, I'm Jeff Slauson with 19 News. Have a great night. Much more to come, both on air and online.
19 News, now streaming on Samsung Smart TV. Search for Channel 1.